this one I went really quickly through in my last video that I took yesterday. I want to spend a little bit more time on it though today. So watch this one as well, even though I skimmed through it. I'm going to land on some more of the highlights today. You do use your own knowledge and experience. I want you to talk about something that you have knowledge of or are experienced with already. That's what I want, because it's easier. And your personal experiences can sometimes give you supporting materials. You can give us stories and tell us examples from your life if you're using your own knowledge and experience. But you can't just use your own knowledge and experience. Yes, use it, but use it as a base to build more on and go do more research and find out more about the thing that you've chosen to talk about. Don't stop with what you know. Start with what you know. Add to it with library resources. Yes, we have a very good library on campus, and I encourage you to use it. And if you have not had your library orientation, I think that is open till April something. So be sure that you've had your library orientation, and be sure that if you need help with any research or anything, you go over to the library and ask for help, because the librarians are #1 on this list of library resources. I put librarians at the top because research is what they do. That's what their degree is in. Did you know that to be a librarian in an educational setting, I don't know for sure like at public libraries, but in an educational context, librarians have degrees in library science. It's a thing. All right? Some people just think, oh, they're just really good at research, so they became a librarian. Well, the reason they became a librarian is because they went to school to be a librarian. And they had that degree conferred on them, and they chose it because they like research. So go ask your friendly college librarian for help. They would love to help you with research. That is their thing, all right? They love research. You've also got catalogs, periodical indexes, newspapers, reference works, different types of reference works that you can see here. Of course, though, there's the internet, which we do need to talk about, because the internet is the easiest place to get information. You have it in the palm of your hand, right? Every phone pretty much these days can take you to some browser and you can look stuff up, right? Most of us have laptops or desktop computers in our home. Internet research is easy to do because it's so accessible. The library only is open for certain hours of the day, and not on weekends, you know? So the internet is going to be a really popular place for most people to go find information. You know what a search engine is. It's anything like Google or Bing, MSN, Yahoo. I don't know how many people use that anymore. Google is about it. But the virtual library is the Alabama has a virtual library called, guess what? The Alabama Virtual Library. And if you don't know how to have access to that, go talk to a librarian. Go ask them, how do I get on the AVL? And you're going to find everything you could possibly need on the AVL, especially for academic endeavors. While you're in school, if you use the AVL, you cannot go wrong. You will find what you need. So get familiar with, use the virtual library. But outside of the virtual library, what if I did this? Hang on, I got an idea. Wait, what am I doing? It's a little less distracting, isn't it? Okay. If you're not using the Alabama Virtual Library and you're just looking online for whatever Google tells you is true, you need to evaluate things. You don't need to just take what you see on the internet. There are people today who should be smart enough to know, but if they see a YouTube video, oh, now that's what's true right there. I saw it on YouTube. Just because somebody makes a video doesn't mean they're telling the truth. There's a lot of yahoos out there spewing a lot of nonsense on the internet. You have to look for what's true. As much as you can find the truth. So the way to evaluate your internet resources is who wrote it? Who wrote the thing? Is there a bio on them that you can kind of get some information on their background? Are they trustworthy? Are they credible? Look at who wrote it. Who's paying for it? If it's a .com, it's a commercial website, meaning somebody is paying to have that up there. So who's paying out the money, and what do they want, and what's their agenda? Because it might not be a good one. There's a lot of people out there paying to put stuff on the internet because they want your vote or something, but they're not telling you the truth. Find out who's paying for it, because that's going to tell you if it's good or not. And then recency. That goes for everything. The more recent your information is, the better you can trust it. Especially scientific things and medical type things. Just think of how the information about the coronavirus has changed from a year ago. A year ago they told us certain things that now they're telling us, okay, never mind, we've moved on, we've improved our scientific method, and we found different conclusions. We have different theories now. So the most recent information is what you go by. Consider this. In 1987, 88, they were just starting to understand what AIDS is. Y'all heard of AIDS? They were just starting to understand it. They were just beginning to discover that it comes from a virus, the HIV, which stands for human immunodeficiency virus. They didn't know that prior to that. They just knew that people were dying. Now they have treatment for it. I mean, they didn't think they could ever come up with something that would treat it, but now they have treatments. If you get it, you're never going to really get rid of it, but they can suppress it now. They can fix it so it's much more manageable. People live way longer than they used to, and that's because the science evolved from the 80s to today. But the internet began as a thing for public consumption in the early 90s. So information that they had in 1988 that they may have posted onto the internet in 1991 was only 3 years old at that time. But if you looked at it now, it would probably have a lot of bad information in it because they've made newer, more appropriate discoveries. So it's got to be more recent, especially with science and medicine, medicine is science. But you can talk to people, do a research interview, and talk to a person who might be an expert on the topic, get what they have to say. Some tips for doing research: start early. Don't wait till the last minute. As soon as you know what your topic is, go start doing some research. Get some information so that you can have something to work with. Keep up with all the sources you consult. That's a preliminary bibliography. Keep up with all the sources you're looking at. Even if you don't think you're going to use it, if you decide later you are and you forgot where you found it, you'll have your list and you can go find it. Take good notes. Think about your materials as you research. You may come across something that's okay, but you think, there might be something better out there. There probably is, if that's what you think. So go find that. Use the best of what you can find. Be a good note taker. Take plenty of notes. Record them consistently and separately, so that they're distinguishable, so that when you go back and look at it, you don't confuse yourself. I have a master's degree, so I went to school for a long time back in the day, okay? I was in school for a while. And I confused myself plenty of times just by scrawling stuff on notebooks instead of making it neat and separate. You know, you go back and look at it and you think, what is this? You should have done a better job. So learn from my mistakes. Keep everything nice and neat and simple so that when you go back to look at it, it makes sense. And especially distinguish among direct quotations, paraphrases, and your own ideas, because you don't want to get caught doing incremental plagiarism by mistake, and that usually happens by mistake just when you don't cite a quote or a paraphrase. So just be sure you label everything so that you know what's what. And this is me. When someone makes any claim, me, your teacher, I'm going to need a citation. All right, so we've talked about it. Cite your sources on your outline, out loud, and in the bibliography. Always cite. And last but not least, one more time, be in control of your time. If you don't stay up on top of your time, it's going to sneak up on you. And when a project sneaks up on you and you've waited till the last minute, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to make bad decisions. And some people get caught cheating because they're in a hurry and they miss something. And all of a sudden, they didn't even mean to cheat, but they did. They didn't mean to plagiarize, but they did. And those are avoidable if you take control of your time and begin soon. Begin your research soon. Don't wait. That's it for that one.